Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hey, Sam.
Hi.
I'm inspired. I'm very, very happy.
Me too.
We have some guests in here. We'll get our business out of the way, and then we'll go full guests.
Yeah.
Is there anything to plug? Am I forgetting anything that I need to remind our audience about, Mr. Van?
Well, Eric Merchman will be out at the Sanford Food Truck Fiesta this Sunday. It's a huge food truck event.
It's about the biggest I've ever seen. 40 plus?
Yep, second Sunday of each month in Sanford, right at the Sanford L in front of the West End, Celery City. And if you want to go get some free Tom and Dan stuff or some merch, it's a completely free event. And he'll be out there all day.
Two different types of varietals of pretzel. You get an
Yeah.
Amish pretzel, and then if you don't like the Amish pretzel, you can do a standard, good old American. I think Amish pretzels are American as well, but I'm just saying, you don't have to go with the.
So I knew when we started podcasting that it was
It was a baby's job.
Well, it was inevitable that eventually one day will be Old Man Podcast.
Yeah.
Like the people ahead of us were Old Man Radio.
Old Man Radio.
And
yeah.
we
Retire
laughed.
already,
Yeah.
old man.
Then,
A bunch of old guys do it. I'd look in there and
young blood.
I would hear these guys' voices and I would listen to them and I'd be like, oh, wow, that's got to be a young guy. But then when you see them, you're like, oh, not young at all. They're so old.
and we have talked about this before. Like, I think throughout our career in podcasting, we've always talked about, like, man, there should be a kids or a podcast just for kids, kids only. I remember we talked about because
I told the parenting group that this is like a dream of mine, like what you guys are doing and doing it well, by the way, not just doing it. You're doing it like really, really high quality is a dream of mine to produce a high quality kids podcast that's, it's got the, it's not blue. It's,
for kids, by kids.
By kids. Everybody can listen to it. It's not dirty. It doesn't have naughty words into it. It's engaging. And today in the studio, we have Jordan, Kara, and Cece's here. And your show is Ryan and Cece's Mysteries, a detective podcast for kids. I was listening to you this morning. Welcome to our show, and thanks for being here.
So, Cece, tell us about how you started the podcast. Was it your parents' idea? Was it your idea? How did it start?
So it was all just my parents' idea.
And now, how old are you, Cece?
I'm 7 years old.
Wow.
Oh, Maisie's age.
Yeah. I have two sons, 1 7, 1 8. And they're so lazy, Cece. They'll never do anything like this. They only play Roblox. That's all they want to do. I have to force them outside.
Yeah, I have to concur. And my daughter just does dance. I would love her to do a podcast like her daddy does, but she doesn't like podcasts. She thinks what I do, and maybe even what you do, even though I don't think she'd tell you because you're a girl, she'd be like so happy. She'd be like, oh, I got a bestie here. Maybe she'd like podcasting if she knew that little girls podcast. But she only knows that I do it. So how long have you been doing your detective and mysteries podcast?
I think about a year, right?
Yeah.
Right about a year?
Yeah.
So, Kara, you're Cece's mom, and how did this whole thing start? And tell us about how you got Cece involved and all that.
So,
hold on, let me get action.
Okay. So my best friend and I, we have been best friends since high school.
Yeah.
We had babies around the same time. Kind of planned it that way that they were going to be best friends.
Okay.
So we kind of started this as a creative outlet for both us and for them. It's a lot of fun for us to write the mysteries. We like to do the voices of all the characters, and the kids have lots of fun coming up with ideas and recording together. So it's kind of just a way for us to all, hang out and have some fun together and put out something that's a little bit different. We kind of saw that there was not a whole lot of podcasts for kids that we thought were entertaining.
How long does it usually take you to record one episode and the editing? Because you're it's well produced.
Yeah, it's really, really well produced.
And well
it's top
edited.
quality.
Yeah. And like for instance, our show. We just throw it out there. There's barely any editing. We often think. Besides from little bleeps here and there for the radio version, like our other podcast, we're just like, put it out.
Yeah, whatever.
They'll listen to anything.
So it takes us, I say us, my best friend Kirsten is the one who does all of our editing.
All right.
And it's a huge job because sometimes I'll be recording from my house. We have we get our parents involved recording different characters. So she kind of stitches it together. But she's kind of a beast about it. She can get one out in about a week.
All right.
That's fast.
Yeah.
And is that something that does anybody have an audio background in that? Is that
Not at all?
So it's all self-taught.
She taught herself how to do it. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, can I pause you for just 1 second?
Yeah.
I want to speak to our audience. Don't email me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Today is the day we stop, and I don't mean to get a little.
I like it. Just
but I'm
keep
done.
asking
No,
Daniel
I'm
to do it
done.
for him.
If people that aren't even in this lane can figure it out, and then in a couple years they're editing a full edited professional top tier quality podcast in a week, don't at me, don't email me, figure it out.
No, I like it.
If
Hey,
a
Daniel.
7-year-old and her group of friends
How do I
can
do this?
No,
Right.
just don't email me. I'm done with it.
So, where'd you come up with the idea of like a detective mystery podcast? I mean, did you know the genre you wanted to get into right away, or did it just kind of end up that way?
I think it just kind of we've looked at what kids podcasts were out there, and there's a lot of like science based podcasts, but not a whole lot of kind of fun narrative sorts of podcasts. So we wanted something that would engage children, like that they can be a part of, that they can try to figure out who committed whatever mystery.
Yeah, it's a whodunit for kids.
Yeah.
It's like Clue. There's a I was just listening to your latest episode.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out who possibly nipped the fireworks for the fireworks presentation,
Yeah.
and then I haven't finished it yet, but I would tend to lean towards maybe a neighboring town's mayor would do something a little shady in order to make their fireworks better. I could see a scenario where the mayor of Castleberry would steal Orlando's fireworks to make Orlando look less.
And I tell my sons, like, they watch people play video games, other kids, and they're like, we want to do this. We want to play video games and be millionaires. And I'm like, just figure it out. You have to do it. You're like, you have to put in the work.
Tell them to email you.
And
we
they're
just
like,
wanna
no
watch
work. We just want it to happen.
Well, let me ask Cece, is it a lot of work? Do you think it's a ton of work, or do you very much enjoy it?
I think it's a lot of work and I enjoy it.
Oh, okay. That's a great answer.
Now, would you rather be podcasting or playing Roblox? Because my sons would Roblox.
It's Roblox,
Huh?
not roadblocks.
No, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Cece knows.
Yeah, she knows. She knows you're saying it wrong. Yeah. She knows what Roblox
Well,
is.
she knows that too. I realized when she walked in.
Hey, Cece, would you rather be podcasting or playing Fortnite? You got to get the name right.
So you enjoy it, Cece?
Yeah.
What's the best part, would you say, of being able to podcast? Is it getting time with your family? Is it the voices?
Oh, wait
Is it
until the money
writing?
comes, Cece. You can get rich.
Yeah.
Look
Well,
what we did.
You're not.
I bought a
doing
boat,
this-
Cece. A
you're-
boat.
You're not doing
It
this for
doesn't
money,
work, but
right?
you got it.
What?
It was from a listener.
You're not doing this
Huh?
for money, right? You're doing this for like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long does it take you to cut like when you go in and you've got the microphone and you're doing your pieces, how long would you say it takes you to record?
Like,
20 minutes. Maybe?
yeah.
Let's say
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
not
wow,
bad. That's
yeah.
what we need to do. We need to
Cece.
get on this 20-minute plan instead of this.
Yeah.
I sit here for 8 hours every single day.
Okay, I figured it out. I don't know if you guys are looking for a manager, a business
Well, I
manager.
think they're
but,
in the room.
Yeah.
Or Cece wouldn't be here.
Well, I mean, just someone in the business. You know what I'm saying? Like some like.
That's the problem. The people in the business are the problem.
Yeah,
What do you mean the problem?
Yeah, they're the problem.
Well, you got to get someone on the inside that has the
No,
connections
yeah.
to get rich. That's how you do it. Because you start out, you build it's all about. Cece's got to be the face of the podcast. Then we get her around on the circuit. We get her in the morning
Okay.
shows.
Oh, yeah.
I call Martha Sagowski. I'm like, hey, I got a young local podcaster. She's hungry. She get her on the news. And Martha Sagowski, she got a soft spot for kids. She gets
yeah.
on
She
there.
does, yeah.
I'll get Cece a script to read. She'll just memorize it, and then and then we'll get her morning show.
Okay, so she's doing the junket.
Then
She just blinked at her dad twice for help. Can you stop
Yeah.
yelling.
No.
Why am I here?
Then we put together a sizzle reel. I know how this works. And then
Do you really?
we send it to the Today Show. It's the summer months. It's slow news cycle. They want to do something positive or whatever. Like,
Well, there is a lot of negative right now.
yeah, they're
That's
like
true.
young
That's
podcaster.
true. Kid podcasting stories would do well right now because everybody wants to forget about, things.
We need that right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I agree. We need a few more fireworks mysteries.
and then I know how this business works. Next, we need some like stuffies or some sort of. We need the merchandise.
Okay.
That's how Ryan's toy review
really
does
is.
it.
Yeah.
What's that new? It's called Crinkle Box or something. Cece knows. What's the one? The two young teens are talking
What?
about. No, it's a YouTube show.
Do you know something called Crinkle Box?
It's what is it called?
Yeah.
It's something box. And then they're millionaires because they sell their little they have characters and then they sell the characters.
Yeah, they
in
sell
Walmart.
the stuffies and the shirts and all that
yeah.
stuff.
All
do
rich.
you do any YouTube? Do you like YouTube?
No.
No, not see. I like that.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
better
yeah.
than
She
you.
does
really-
consume her fair share of YouTube.
Yeah, but it's really not your thing.
She's not on YouTube.
Right,
but
right.
She likes to watch some, mostly like makeup tutorials, that kind of thing.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I've got a makeup tutorial.
Yeah.
I like those. I watch those. Amazing.
Cece, I was just talking to your dad, and he told me that you like when the fans, the listeners, write you and tell you how much they like. See, I'm the opposite. I don't like that. Every time they write me, I'm like, you're wasting my time. I know I'm good.
There's no money in this envelope.
He's
like shaking it
write
out
me
like
with
a-
some business.
Yeah, like so. What? How many kids?
Sorry.
You've had kids write you, and you've had kids. Like, what are some of the things that they say that are meaningful to you?
Tell them about Roxy, remember?
Oh yeah. Roxy said that she listens to our podcast every time one comes out, and then she came up with an idea for the missing catnip. Then we did that episode, and she was in it.
Oh, so you
cool.
actually had a listener that reached out to you and said like, "Hey, I got this idea. How about like the case of the missing catnip? It's great." And then you were like, "That's a good idea." And then you were like, "Hey, do you want to be in the show?"
Yep.
So you're making friends, you're making content. We don't do most of our guys. They come in here and they'll suggest something like, let's say, Kratom Carey. He'll come in and we
don't
but,
talk about
but then we get him in here. We make him part of the show, and then he
Oh,
disappears.
yeah, he's got a mental illness.
Yeah. Do any of your? But I'm guessing that your friend stayed with you, and she still writes you and says like, "Hey, great shows." Have you had many listeners that have suggested things to for you to do as a maybe a possible mystery?
Not too many, but we're always looking for ideas.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
we
the
get
best when
we
the
get a little
listeners
tapped out.
Yeah,
Do the work for you.
that's what you know how to do.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mom and
You
Dad
get-
know exactly what we're doing. Where you're like, "Oh my God, I need somebody to who's got a mystery."
So then, then you get the listeners. They're coming and they're doing characters. They're doing nerd jobs.
Yeah.
They're doing game shows.
Yeah.
So they're doing the work
Now,
for you.
how long do you want? How long do you want to do this? Have you thought about that? How long? Like maybe you're enjoying it now, right?
Yeah.
And do you think this is something you want to do possibly as you get older? Like when, let's say, you're like Mom's age. Could you see yourself broadcasting like professionally?
Yeah.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting now, and just
She's not
learning.
nervous at all, which
how
is
to-
so impressive that somebody your age would be in here and on the mic, and it's like no big
And
thing.
she's got Tom yelling at her.
So-
Yeah, I know.
Sorry
That is,
about
I mean, that is
Yeah.
scaring
You
me.
gotta bring it down a couple
Yeah.
notches.
And
I'll bring
I
it
work
down,
here
man.
every day, and when he does
I don't
that,
know
it's
if you've
scary.
listened to the podcast. It's very
Calming.
soothing.
As an anxiety guy, I was being sucked into this
Yeah.
thing. I loved it. I was like, hold on a
Yeah.
second. I do think it's the mayor of the other town that stole the fireworks, and I am
Yeah.
calm right now.
Yeah, our podcast, I scream, and Daniel has full-blown anxiety.
That sums it up.
works.
So, Kara, have you, when you put out your first one, were you surprised by the results? Like, I'm sure, you start spreading the word through friends and family first.
Right.
And then.
And we put you on this blowtorch. So, I mean,
Were you surprised when it started spreading further than that? Because I've talked to a lot of content producers and
you could have said
influencers.
creators there for the alliteration, but I'm glad you went content producers.
I forgot the name of it. And then they were surprised, like all of a sudden they have listeners that don't even know them listening to the show, and that's when it really starts clicking. We're
Yeah.
like, wow, strangers are listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were really surprised by that because we initially started, Kirsten and her husband Andrew and I we started with our own podcast, which was not successful.
Oh,
right.
But then we started with the kids, and we're like, what? Why do they have hundreds of listeners?
Right.
We haven't really done anything to promote it. So we were really surprised and excited when we saw that people were, genuinely enjoying it, and it wasn't just our family members who were listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where's the future of it, you think? Where would you like to see it go?
I really enjoy doing it, and we would love to continue, promoting it and getting some more listeners, getting some new stories. And I don't know, we can.
Well, you want Cece to be the next Ryan because
Right.
that guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
have you seen
Ryan's
this
her
man?
co-host.
Uh-huh.
Ryan's her co-host.
No,
No,
I
he
mean
means
Ryan from
Ryan.
Brian's Toy Review.
Yeah.
I know.
He's the richest YouTuber.
I was just making fun of the fact that you forgot the other. Because I know you did, even though it's right in front of you.
And I look, Cece's in front of me.
Yeah.
But that's where
Yeah.
you can get to a point where it's unimaginable how big the you know what I'm
But
saying?
then,
Like,
but then do you guys worry that then you end up getting like a Hogan knows best scenario where your entire family crumbles around you?
No,
because you've
that's
gotten-
all wrestling. He's
you-
on the wrestling business.
No, it
man.
happens to all the like if you go on YouTube right now and look at a lot of
Yeah.
these streamers, their lives are in shambles because they don't know how to control that level of money and fame.
Yeah.
We'll
yeah.
cross that bridge when we get
Right,
to it.
that's what I say. That's what I say, Joe. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
if I
this is
end up
a-
with Linda Hogan next to me, and a whole new family, so be it. That's what I say.
We're looking to retire off this.
Yeah, man. Be open to it. To be open to it.
So, me and Daniel have talked about this too. When you have a theme, like we've talked to Dan Cummins about this, where like he's got Time Suck and he's got where each one of his podcasts is about a different theme, and now you guys. You can kind of write whatever you want. It can go in a million
Sky's the
different
limit for
directions.
mysteries. I mean,
But
you can do math mysteries. You can do whodunits. You can do
yeah. Do you
fish
find
out
it,
of water.
like because it's a lot more production involved with this, and your storytelling, and you have to write a beginning and end, and so how much work have you seen? If you got it down to an efficient level where it's like, okay, we work on the story on Tuesday.
Yeah, it
and
hasn't
then
become a chore yet, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because this
yeah.
right here, this is torture. You have no idea how. I want to talk to you guys, but then I just want to leave. But it doesn't work like that. Like I'd love to do this and be like, okay, Samantha. It wouldn't be Samantha. I wouldn't do that to her. Right? Like, Sam, it's all done. Just make sure you turn the lights out. Turn the air down when you leave.
Yeah,
And then
it's
just
still
walk
fun
out.
for us, but we're always looking for some new ideas, and we kind of take turns writing them. So we're still enjoying that. And
I think I recognize your voice. Maybe, possibly. Do you do some voices now or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
probably about a third of them are me.
They're really good though. You're quite good at it. Like it's well done.
Do you run the story by Cece too? Because I imagine like you're writing the story, and then but you have to write it for kidless,
Right.
for children listeners.
Yeah.
So that's got to be different because like okay, I've seen a lot. I watch what my sons watch. And I'm looking at it, and they love it. And they're watching these YouTube, influencers and stuff. And I'm like, man, what they're doing, I would have never thought of because I couldn't think in that mindset.
Right.
I'm thinking in the mindset of entertaining adults always, but they know what the kids want, obviously, because my kids are enthralled by it. They're glued to the TV. They're laughing like it's the funniest joke in the world, and I'm like, what? What is happening?
It might as well be Dave Chappelle because they are crying,
and
pounding. Yeah,
and
Maisie does it too.
And the stuff they're doing, I wouldn't
I
have thought of.
I have never gotten the smile that she gets from YouTube. I have never put that on her face.
So-
not one time.
So it is, and for all the people that discount it, because your first instinct is like, oh, this is uncreative or whatever, but it's like, it's not. They know their audience. They know how to write towards their audience because obviously my sons love it, and then look how many views they have. Look how many kids watch this. All my friends' kids watch it. So it's like they know.
What
but
do your
that's a
friends
talent.
think? Do your friends like the show?
Yeah.
That I would
That's
be the
cool.
coolest kid in school if I had this show in like, let's say elementary and middle school.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't like I would be the coolest.
Yeah. And Cece,
I'm surprised there's not a Nickelodeon. There will be. Okay, I'm going to put a prediction out there. There will be a Nickelodeon or a Disney Channel show that involves a young girl or boy who has a podcast in elementary school and solves mysteries, a la Encyclopedia Brown back when I was a kid. Right? This is kind of what you're doing, the Encyclopedia Brown thing.
But there's a
Can we
reason.
trademark that?
I mean, you should. I mean, it's a good idea, right? I mean, if you can do a show called Marin about a guy that has a podcast who's a stand-up comedian, you can do a show about Cece and Ryan, who are just kids in an elementary school that just happen to have a detective podcast who also solve crimes in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It writes itself. It writes itself. Disney would do it. They do that show Bunked. They do that.
Oh, yeah.
And my daughter loves Bunked. She's
Bunked
not
is
really
good.
into cartoons anymore. She wants live action sitcom. I'm like, slow down.
here.
You're 30.
Well, you know what's weird is there's got to be a reason why, like, these gigantic production companies, Disney, Netflix, and stuff. The independent producer, the social media influencer, has more of a grasp of the audience than these giant production companies do.
Their listeners are right on the front line, right?
The most popular YouTube channels and kid content is independent. And it's like, why is that? Like, why? Like, you would think that a giant corporation would buy up the most popular kid podcast or whatever, and then profit off of it.
Right.
But they don't, because it's like the independent ones gain popularity so fast and get so big that they don't need anybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's becoming like that. And almost it's like they're free to move and make their own decisions fast and on the fly, which is better for them and better to spread the word than, I feel like, getting caught up in the red tape of a giant billion-dollar corporation media company.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
They're going to try to micromanage it. They're going to have old people tell them what they should and shouldn't do,
And make
start
it
writing the
exactly
script.
why it doesn't succeed.
Right.
And then the podcasts that are independent, they can move free flow and listen to the audience and move on the fly and then change day to day. They are the ones that are relevant, and because there's no Disney show that's as big as a YouTube channel that the kids like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And why is that? It's weird. Is they can't replicate it, and I think it's because of the entire structure that.
I also think the kids probably have more of a say in the independent thing, whereas in the corporations, it's a bunch of old adults that don't know what kids want.
Exactly. And
the kids are just actors. They're just getting paid to do a job.
Correct.
I've always said this is like when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, the people that were making content for kids were old.
Right.
And they were writing.
Well, that's why we got some weird stuff in there.
Yeah. Well,
If you
but
look
also-
at HR Puffin stuff and any of that stuff,
Well,
that was
that's
before,
real,
that was before my time, but
Yeah.
it was like you got weird stuff because it wasn't kids in charge of it.
And it's like the content we got were written by 40 to 50-year-old animators and storytellers, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
that were writing what they thought kids liked, you know what I'm saying, and we got Darkwing Duck, which is fine, but it's like nowadays it's content written by kids or younger, kids in their late teens or early 20s, and they know exactly what kids 10 years younger generation want, and then they're grabbing that audience faster than any giant corporation can.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Do you have any podcasts that you like to listen to other than yours?
No.
That's the answer I wanted, right? Because
Right.
it is so incredibly rare to have a show that's specific for your age group.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find your show? Because I want to make sure we all subscribe, so you'll get some extra subscribers there. And I want all of our listeners to subscribe. And if you have kids, put it on and give it a try. I'm going to play it for my daughter Maisie. I have a feeling she's really going to like it because you're 7, she's 7. The shoes you have on are very much something that she would wear. Tiffany blue is very much the color right now in my house. So where can people find your show?
Apple Podcast.
Yeah,
Anywhere you get podcasts.
You got to say Apple Podcasts. You can't say iTunes. That's before your time. They'll yell at you. Apple gets real mad when you use iTunes. There's no such thing as iTunes anymore. You got to say Apple Podcast. And then are you guys on Spotify too?
Yeah, I think we're
everywhere.
you get
Okay,
podcasts.
great. Yeah, so go give them a follow. Go give them a
Leave
like.
them some reviews too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
leave them
please
but if you're not going to do 5 stars, don't
Right.
bother.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I say. Don't get in there with some negativity. I got no time for that.
And Cece, I'll leave you with this. The next
no.
thing you got to do is you got to ask your listeners to give you money.
Oh,
They
do founders.
will. Yeah,
CC's founders.
CC founders. Look at those.
Cece and Ryan.
the wall.
Or see all those pictures, and all you have to do.
Be a part of our agency, our detective agency.
Yeah. Cece's detective.
Part of the agency.
Yeah, part of the
Yeah,
agency.
perfect.
They pay a monthly fee
To be an agent.
to be an agent.
Yeah, an operative.
And then you charge them like not too much. So basically,
Sucker them in for $195.
because everybody
Too stupid to know it's still charging.
Everybody has these
I'll cut that part out.
subscriptions that they just pay monthly. They forget it's like Planet Fitness model. Cece.
You know what Planet Fitness is, right?
And
Have
then-
you ever seen anybody fit go into Planet Fitness?
And then you make it hard to unsubscribe. Like you have to go through this rigmarole and you have to email.
And then
No
they
one
gotta
does
call,
it.
They tell them to call
So-
the claims department.
So then it just goes on, and you get rich. There's Tom
There we
Mann's
go.
business advice,
Perfect.
Cece. Thank you very much for coming in. I
thank
appreciate
you for
it.
your time. We really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like? You have our airwaves. Is there anything you'd like to say? Anything at all? You want to say hi to anybody or like to
You
a
might wanna shout
friend?
out Ryan.
Or Ryan. What about Ryan?
yeah,
That poor
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, is he going to be
You wanna say hi?
is he going to be listening at home?
Ryan's in Australia right now, so he's
Nice.
Okay.
he's doing just fine.
Good Lord. Apparently your podcast pays a lot of money. I cannot go to Australia. I would love
On
my
vacation
dream
in
is to go to
Australia?
Bora Bora, and I know it's around there somewhere.
Cece, I'll be emailing you later. So you have an open position.
You may just got a brand new producer.
Oh, she's good.
But thank you for
But
coming
she'll
in.
nag you, Cece.
Thank
Oh,
you.
she'll nag you.
I think
good.
I'll be fine with her.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a break and come back with more corporate time right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
I figured out what happened.
Okay, well,
It's
hold
my
on.
assumption of what the reality is. Daniel's been telling me for years. Just quit assuming.
Wait, am I right?
Wow.
Quit assuming.
No,
We're bringing squid in this now?
Well,
Daniel-
he tries to answer he tries to predict, and which is not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you trust it all the time. It's kind of like a self-driving car. It's a great thing, but you don't want to
hit the
trust it all.
biker.
Yeah, it
There's
will
a
bite.
whole saying about assuming things.
It'll bite you in the ass sometimes. But if you think, you have enough proof to prove something correct, then who am I to talk you out of it? But when you do it all the time, you're like, I know this. I'm 5 steps ahead of everyone at all times. Stronger than ever. My hands work better than they've ever worked. Where have you ever heard that before? Not from me. So you figured it out. It's an
Daniel's
assumption.
right.
I tell you all the time. I'm right. I don't even know what we're talking about. All right, so please explain.
No. We'll get to the fish sandwich,
okay.
but
Later. Okay, all right.
it all has
We'll
to
bring
do.
it up later.
I figured. I was sitting here, because I'm assuming what's happening and what the reality is, and it's completely wrong. So then
Okay.
it leads me down like,
Okay, well, we'll get to
this
it.
is obviously what's happening, and then I'm standing there.
We're waiting
45
for our
minutes.
friend Mike Smith from The Current. We'll talk to
Yeah.
him. When he gets here, all bets are off. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard.
Sanford Tour is here. How's it going? Dustin
Paul
Dom.
wanted to be here. Apparently.
He's out of state.
He is.
Yeah.
He still wanted to be here, though.
So
He has to call in.
Yes.
I made
Yeah, I
an
thought that'd be a
executive decision
bad
that
idea.
would be a
He
terrible
and Dustin are
decision.
going to get in so much trouble when he gets back.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Probably because I spoke for him like, me and Dustin will just do it. No
It's
big
fine.
Oh, really?
Oh, I
Is
do
that
it all the
bad?
time.
Is it bad not having him
deal.
here?
He's coming after
Let's make
us.
some changes to the restaurant. Let's do some things.
Oh, that's what we're doing. That's
Yeah.
what me and Dustin
Let's
planned
do
on
some
Literally, we've
things.
been doing all
The
week.
whole Wild Wild West End thing.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
it's
Just
working.
nix it.
Right.
Yeah,
Get
let's
rid of the
change it.
mural.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
just
like it.
change it.
okay. Let's talk about the Wild
By
Wild
the way,
West
don't
End.
change it because I really like that bar.
We're not going.
So me and Daniel hung out there, like right after we did our podcast.
That's a
at the-
hangout bar. I
at
like
the
that.
hurricane party, and the courtyard, the Wild Wild West End, the inside of the bar is beautiful. You guys are having your official grand opening coming up when now?
July 23rd, we're doing it.
All right.
We're doing a livestock-less rodeo.
So what is that?
It's something we kind of made up.
All right.
So we're
Can
doing
you
like
explain?
we're doing like team roping.
I know you made it up.
It's
So
fake.
what is it?
I like how you
That's
were
a
ready to
game.
move
It's a
on.
fish?
He's like, we're doing a livestock, and you're like, yes.
Yes.
Oh. You're like, what is that? You're like rattled.
Well,
Yes.
because,
What is this
We'll have like we'll do team roping. We've got barrel racing.
team
and,
roping?
Yep, and barrel racing and a mechanical bull. And then we've got bands coming out too.
Yeah, we got Ben Prestige playing.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
Ben
yeah.
Prestige is great.
Yeah.
I also just
Friend of
booked
the show.
a drag show that's Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire.
Oh,
So-
country-inspired
Yeah,
drag show? That's dope.
That's coming too.
Oh, man. Sam, we might have to hit that.
I don't think I'm going to be in town.
When is it?
The
When's
23rd.
Yeah, 23rd.
Oh, the 23rd?
I like a mechanical bull. Explain how this.
Yeah.
This
I
is
like a mechanical man.
Yeah.
Wait
Have
till
you
we
seen
have the
Mechanical
drag
Man?
show on top of the.
I think Mike
Mechanical
Smith's
Man.
outside.
right.
Oh, yeah. Is that him? Yeah.
Bring
Yes,
him
he's
in.
here.
Let's get to the bottom of
Yeah,
it.
let's get to the bottom of the
Dude,
fish.
you are in so much trouble, bro. You're in a ton of
Mike
trouble.
Smith, Mike Smith, all the fish. What's up,
Here,
buddy?
sit.
So good to see you, man. All right,
buddy?
we're putting. Oh, your mic's on the ground.
Oh,
So you can take that yellow mic there. I'll turn you on. All right, there we go. All right.
Well, now it's awkward.
You're in so much,
Well,
you're in
because
so much trouble.
Well, I didn't think Mike Smith. Well, because we talked about it in the OG recap this 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
And it was.
But why is
after
this? I still don't understand why
Carts
this
and
is a
Kegs.
bad thing. This is just something it just rattles you.
No, it's not bad. It's awkward for me to talk about it because I'm sure Mike's like, this is.
But it's not like
insane that
awkward.
you're.
It's not like awkward like somebody explaining their cancer to you. Awkward.
You're
It's
right, yeah.
more awkward like, why is that awkward?
Well, I don't want to make Mike feel bad,
But you're
I'm
not.
I don't think he does feel bad.
He doesn't-
I think he feels bad for you that you were too dumb to get a fish
You know
sandwich.
your assumption
Well, no.
thing? I'm assuming right now that he will not get mad. I'm assuming
Well,
that. I know it.
I assume Mike's like, Tom Van works hard for.
all he wanted was a fish
Yeah.
sandwich.
Like he's a great MC for Carts and Kegs.
Yes,
He came
he's the
there.
best. Some would say the best MC for
He
Carts
didn't
and
get
Kegs.
anything wrong. He's professional.
Yeah, never got drunk. Has never gotten drunk on any of the Mike Smith stages ever. Has never gotten drunk.
Yeah. And then I didn't get him his fish sandwich that he wanted. So
Yeah.
now I feel speaking as a Mike.
So he
like,
ruined
I'm
the
like-
event for Mike.
Oh my
Because he
God.
couldn't get you a sandwich. All Mike wanted to do is get you a sandwich, and because he couldn't deliver that sandwich, ruined the
Ruined
event.
his day.
In fact, there's not going to be a part 2 ever, and it's never going to do it again.
So, Mike, I'm kind of putting together and this is it's my fault because
Yes, it is.
I'm an awkward person at heart. I don't know what's wrong with me.
In your core.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Well,
And
there's something wrong with all of us.
so when we're walking over to the Current, which is a great seafood restaurant
Hell
in
yeah.
Henry's Depot, and I've
Seafood's my favorite jam.
heard unbelievable things about the Current. A lot of BDMs are like, "Oh, you have to go and eat there."
Mm-hmm.
And so when Mike, is busy. It's a Carts and Kegs. He's running around. Mike's trying to organize everything.
Yeah.
He's got kegs. He's got
And he had a
teams.
shirt on that said, "Ask me about a fish sandwich." Right?
By the way,
was it a button? It may have been a novelty button.
I feel bad for Mike because he organized these grandiose events and all the contestants drunk. So it makes them harder to. And they
Half
get
the
drunk.
hosts.
and they all ask him the same
the-
question. Where do we
Sometimes
line up? Where
both
do we
the
line up?
hosts.
64 times.
yeah. So Mike's running around. So like half an hour before we are supposed to start, Mike's like, "Hey, you want some lunch? I got you. Because
I have a
Mike's
fish
involved
sandwich in my pocket. Been here
Mike's
since
like,
yesterday.
You want to eat at the Current? Lunch is on me. I appreciate you guys coming." And then I was like, "All right." And then he starts going through what he has, and he's a black and mahi sandwich. I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good."
Oh.
So this is okay, Mike. So
Did you really
I
go
wasn't
home?
pushing the mahi. I was not pushing anything.
No, so this
The
is
mahi's turning. I need you to eat a mahi.
when I'm a
Eat
big
more.
fan.
Eat more.
And
it all.
So from my perspective, I walked up with you, Mike, and then I stopped at the counter.
And I also thought Sam and Trav were behind you, too.
Yeah.
This whole
We
thing
got
went off
left in the
rails.
dust.
Yeah, well, this guy wanted his fish.
Yeah,
He was quick for the finish.
Yeah,
and-
he's always been quick on
Well, I
the
did
fish.
scream, "I'm the star. I get the free sandwich." In my head. Anyway, so I walk up, and then I'm standing there, and then you walk behind the counter, and you're talking.
I made the arrangements.
Yeah, to two gentlemen, and
To do the gentleman's guarantee.
no. And
Wait till you hear their side, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, now
Oh
I
my
can
God,
never
where's
show
my-
my face.
Where's my-
They think I'm insane.
Where's my judge's robe?
And so,
Tom goes back with a mustache.
Hello.
what I assume is you walk back there, you're like, "Hey, see this guy?
Hey,
he's Tom
He's the
Van.
best
He's a
talker
big
in the
shot."
world. Get this guy this big shot. Get him some fish.
Yeah.
Grill him up.
He's the host. He's the MC for Carts and Kegs. He does a radio podcast thing, and
He's the best.
So make it, and then I also assume they are like, "Oh, you got to make it good because maybe he'll talk about it, give us free
Okay.
advertising." That's all.
Okay.
I always
I mean, we have talked about it
Let's
a lot.
pause for
and
a
you didn't
second.
even get the fish.
Let's pause for a second. They don't make sandwiches that are bad.
No, I know, but
They
you're
don't.
extra good.
No, but they don't look at you and go,
Extra
"Oh
good.
yeah,
Sometimes
that's."
we don't make them at all.
You don't look at it and go like, "Oh, that's the MC for Carts and Kegs. I better put an extra dollop of tartar on it." Like it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. It doesn't work like that, dude. Your brain is rotten. Your brain is mush.
It does.
It doesn't work like that.
Like they're giving me something
No,
special.
nothing
like,
special.
They're giving the best cut.
They didn't even look at you. They didn't even look up. They just looked at Mike, and Mike's like, well, what did you say? Because you're here. What did you say?
I turned around. I said, hey, Tom, and then I motioned to you and Travis.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
It turns out you guys were going. You were drifting down
They
the
were
hall.
Yeah.
afraid of it.
happens.
I said, go buy your own fish.
So
Yeah.
in my
out of here.
in my head, here's where I was at for about a week before I heard the BDM show on Monday morning.
You listen to that?
Oh, it ruined my day. It was the most awkward. It was the most awkward 47 minutes of bashing my business that I ever heard in my life.
Oh, you want the most awkward 47 minutes?
You might as well have lined up like all my exes in here and went over all their stories about me. It would have been less awkward. So in my head, I walked you up. I thought Sam and Trevor were coming.
Yeah.
I made the arrangement with the guys, take care of them, and then I was done with that in my head. I closed that off. I ran to
Like
my
a
next
normal
item.
person, yeah.
Now, so you didn't say, "Hey, make him this specific fish sandwich."
Why would you say that?
I do believe I said, hey, I think he wants a blackened fish sandwich.
All right.
Check with him.
on.
Check with him. Now this whole time now, they have a alternate universe story.
Oh, wow,
about
there's
some,
a lot of sides
about
to
some
this.
weird guy in pink shorts just hovering,
Waiting for his friends.
Pervert.
Just waiting for his friends.
He's a fish pervert standing there in his pink shorts with a boner, looking at the fish counter guys, licking his lips
So
like
what
some
you-
sort of crazy person.
What you missed when you went to the bathroom, Dan, is we found out that they did actually approach Tom and ask him if he
Well, you
needed
left that
anything.
out. Hold on, you left that out.
Exactly, and
you
he
had never
said-
said the gentleman approached you.
And he said, according to Tom said he was just waiting for his fish, but what they heard was he's waiting for his friends.
and that's what I got to.
The fish are your friends?
Because he's got mumble mouth, he
Yeah.
said, "Rrr," and they thought he was saying friends.
I might have said something like Tom and a couple other people were getting
Right.
their lunch, and so they might have heard friend instead of fish.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where that went wrong, and so they're having the alternate universe going, why is this guy just standing right here?
That's what I kept saying every
were
time I
awkward.
walked
I think
by.
they actually hid from me
Yeah.
at one point.
Like, I can't make my fish sandwiches with this pervert staring at me.
Because I was just staring at them, and then they were like, we'll stand behind the cooler.
And I was long gone. I was long gone. I was
Yeah, I
done.
know.
Go behind the cooler, see if he still stands
And
there.
then he was awkwardly staring at the clipboard with papers, and I know he wasn't reading it.
That was obvious.
So I was like,
That
just
was
go ahead,
obvious later.
go ahead and let me get that.
well, because I started
Were
looking
you
at the
like
clipboard.
silent?
He was having fish panic. I
you
could
were
see
like
it.
Silas Marner? Were you just standing there like you're in sort of a trance?
So
I'm
then,
gonna go back and pull the footage. I'm gonna go pull the footage of that too. That's
How
gonna be
long
gold.
did he
So
stand
awkward.
there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I'm
an
gonna-
hour.
so then,
It was a long
when
I am gonna pull that footage.
When I left, I hit 8 in the corner because I was afraid Mike was
What'd
going to
you
walk
eat?
by. I had a sandwich from another place. that I
Oh, I heard a bag of chips. Now it's a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't
This
know.
spice
comes
line.
out.
The lies
Oh,
are
starving.
spiraling
This is
out.
getting worse and worse for me.
But I only had half, and I punted it in the trash because I thought you were coming. And then I ran out the
This is
side door.
insanity.
And then he's like, quick, somebody spray some fish in my mouth so I smell like fish. He'll know. He'll smell pizza on my breath.
He had spinach all in his teeth.
Because in my mind, you were going to be like, your fish sandwich is waiting for you.
Oh.
Like, why didn't you eat it?
And
Then you have to go eat it
then you're
too.
full.
Oh, I would have
Then you're full and you're stuffing a fish sandwich.
I would have sat there no matter what and ate it just to make Mike happy. In my mind, even though he doesn't care.
I was so proud. I was so proud that I remembered to offer to buy you guys lunch. I was happy with that. I had closure with it. I moved on.
Yeah.
And for a full week, I thought I did that for you guys.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh.
Monday morning, I'm
This
having
guy.
a beautiful morning, walking my dog, listening to my favorite podcast.
Oh, his favorite podcast.
And then I find out the truth, and my
Attacking-
whole memory of the event is
Attacking
spoiled.
your business.
Why am I so awkward? It's gonna be what kills me. I think.
I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna defend you because I do.
It's like he was-
I do the same stuff.
He was waiting at the bus stop. Then he
I
killed
will
him.
say that this
Bus
is
doesn't
built.
run on Sundays.
There's a layer.
died.
There's a layer of allure to this fish. I can't even say it. Fish sandwich now.
Oh.
That is like it's like now I gotta have one.
I know.
It's
That's
the,
what everyone.
it's the sandwich that
Got a couple in the trunk of the car.
Well, we should do an event where we go to Henry's Depot, go to
Hey,
the
I'm
current,
down.
and all eat fish.
Fish meetup?
Yeah,
We'll all
fish.
sit there. A fish meetup.
All right, so let's talk about Sanford and all the events coming up because there's a lot of them.
Tons.
So Dustin, what do we got coming up? I know this Sunday, Merchman Eric is going to be at the food truck fiesta.
Oh my goodness.
The new ones that we do on the Sundays now, 1 to 6.
Yep. So that's happening this Sunday. And what do we got for the rest of July here coming up?
The other big thing is just the grand opening of Wild Wild West. We try to avoid doing the midday summer all day outside events to a minimum. So because people just get real hot and sweaty.
Now back to that event.
We were just nominated, Orlando at least, not Sanford. Orlando was nominated as of yesterday, or we won the prize of North America's sweatiest city.
Yeah,
Is that a prize or?
Yeah,
What do you get
I
for
like
that?
sweating.
What do you mean
I mean,
you
like,
won?
I prefer to be sweaty. I like sweaty over cold. Cold hurts.
No. Yeah.
Cold hurts. Like my
No.
wife, like she put the air down too cold. I'm like, this is miserable. But sweaty,
worst.
it's fine. I'm sweaty.
We don't
Whatever.
even tour during the winter.
Yeah,
we
no.
Stay here, bro. Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
let's talk mechanical bull for a second, because my favorite thing about mechanical bull competitions is this is inevitably what happens. So usually
A shorter, heavier lady
yeah,
makes her way.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
waiting for you guys to say that.
Well, I can because I'm shorter and heavier.
And you said heavier. I was
Yeah,
gonna say-
a woman
I was
with
gonna
my
say the
body
F word.
gets on the
Yeah.
the mechanical bull.
And now the crowd is hyped up because they saw like 5, maybe fitter women get on there and
Yeah.
sexy ride the bull, right?
where the guy, I think he just puts it on demo, and it's barely moving, and the
Yeah.
girl's like gyrating,
Yeah.
and,
And
like slapping her ass,
Yeah, exactly.
pulling her whale tail thong out,
Exactly. She's doing this whole thing.
90s dream. It's a 90s dream.
Yeah. She's doing the move where she's riding the bull with her head down and ass up.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the
you're
way we like to
and then
bull ride.
You're like, well, that's not how you ride a bull. And then so you
Riding it backwards, sitting on the horn.
So then the DJ's sister or whatever gets up on there, like, because she's drunk and she wants to party. Now
And
the
he's
crowd,
like, no, do not get up there.
the crowd is happy because they want something different. They also are rooting for her because
They start chanting Biggie, Biggie.
everybody knows that in like bikini competitions or any of the sort, like the crowd likes the
Fish out of water.
Fish out of water. Someone different
Pun
than
intended.
normal.
Pun intended. It's
More
on
fish.
brand.
They like fish.
Say fish sandwich one more time.
And then what happens is the operator, for whatever reason, becomes more aggressive.
He gets horny.
I
I think he gets horny.
Well, I don't know if it's that or he
takes it out of demo mode.
he takes it out of demo and
He puts it on Beelzebub. He puts it
Yeah.
on straight Satan's girlfriend.
And partly because she's yelling at him to amp it up because she is a bad bitch.
Yeah. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a four-wheeler.
Yeah. And then
Take my Bluetooth speaker into the woods with a Yeti cup.
So the operator is looking around. He amps it up, takes it out of demo, and puts it into like level 3 or whatever.
And then it blows.
No, what happens is she gets up there and she tries to, because all she remembers is the sexy dance, and so she starts doing the sexy dance, but it's on full level 3.
Yeah.
And then what happens is it rocks her. Like the ass end rocks her forward, and then the head just comes immediately, ramming her face, and then blows her hat off or whatever. And it's gruesome, and she falls on the inflatable blow-up mat. She tries to laugh it off, but she is hurt.
Then she can't roll. Then she has to do that move where she can't stand up on the blow-up mat, so she has to roll all the way to the edge. I have to do that
dazed.
too. It's like me on my sleep number bed. I have to roll to the edge, and then when I jump down, there's like a solid 2 feet before I hit the ground. It's scary getting out of bed.
Danny, you're making me feel great about getting this mechanical. This is awesome.
That's what we do. It's what we do.
Every mechanical bull operator out there that's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. They know how to blast a big girl.
Have
off.
a big demographic of bull operators.
You and I might know.
I know them.
I think you and I might know more about mechanical bulls than most people. Like, did you know that there's a mechanical surfboard? Did you know there's a mechanical girl? There's a mechanical man, and there's no horn. It's just his ween, and you hold onto the ween. This is a true thing. We almost rented it. You should rent it for Wild Wild Westin. It's a naked man with a banar, and you just hold onto that, and you ride around. It's crazy.
Mike, let's talk carts and
$2,000.
kegs for a second.
$2,000
We
for
only got a
naked
couple
man.
minutes
Oh,
left.
so okay. Well, the event went awesome, and tell me if you think this way. So the Tom and Dan team got into the finals in the final race. And I was scared that they were going to win because I feel like the audience and everybody there, the participants, would think it's somehow rigged or that we somehow influenced the win in some way, even though our team had a one flat tire.
Which is amazing.
It was amazing.
That we got that far.
The videos were fantastic from the event. They were great.
Yeah. So how did it go, and were you afraid that the Tom and Dan team was going to win?
Well, to further your point, all those years I had that other business in town, and some years you include me in the crowd favorite voting, and some years you won't. And I always tell you, don't include me, but you forget and you include me. And there's a couple years. There's a couple years
based on this show, it sounds as if you are Mike's arch enemy.
I'm starting to feel like there's a problem.
You tell me something, I forget immediately.
From the beginning of the show until now, in this segment, it sounds like you and Mike don't like each other very much.
Are you saying I'm not doing a good job hosting?
There was a part on Sunday where I'm like, I think Tom's mad at me about something, and I didn't know for another 8 days what it was. It turns out you're starving. But yeah, some years you include me and you're like, Mike, what do you think about the crowd favorite? And I will give you this sign because
don't do it.
I can't vote on my team. My team was always for the crowd favorite. And there was one year I was like, I'll participate because I had a bunch of beers too that one year, or most every year. But that one year was hotter that one year.
The 1 year, it is. You end up the hotter it is, the drunker.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad.
In the cool years of Soap and Suds,
I think the second year of Soap and Suds hosting it, I puked in Andrew's car. It was in the back of it. On one of those WeatherTech mats.
Nice.
Those things work.
Yeah.
If you have a car, get the WeatherTech mats. You can barf right in them, and it'll hold the barf until you get home.
Mine looks like a waffle iron on the front. It all sits in a little ice cube tray. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll end with Dom. So Dom,
I haven't barfed in my car in years.
You haven't barfed in your car in
I
years?
haven't barfed in years.
Oh, maybe
Still early.
you're not
I stopped
drinking right.
so I just.
Really?
I just don't barf anymore. I guess.
Yeah, drinking will make you barf.
I'm just way too high to barf at most points in my day. Yeah.
Any bands coming to West End that we should talk about?
Excuse me. This weekend we have the Blue Streak Mamas and a whole list of bands on Friday. On Saturday we got Angelica Fumero, Every Which Way, I guess the band's called. Drew Yardis with them. We've got a pop punk emo night coming up on July 16th.
Nice.
We got. Just come to westendvenue.com and come look at all of the different shows we got. We got a whole ton of stuff coming.
I love it.
We got Ben Prestage coming for the rodeo.
Wild Wild West.
Is he going to be on the outdoor stage?
Yeah, we're doing
we're doing an
full
outdoor stage
everything.
in
Is
the
that the first
courtyard,
time
yeah.
you've had someone perform there?
I think so. Since
outside,
Hurricane Party we had yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right, I think you mean since Hurricane.
But since the bar itself has been open, no, this will be our first episode of it.
Oh, that's going to be good. Him out on the outdoor stage?
Yeah,
That's going to be nice.
Yeah, he's awesome too.
Yeah, very,
And
very
that new
good.
venue at the West End, the way you guys redid that venue
And
was
so,
phenomenal.
this weekend we had Supervillains there. Great band, drummer.
I've heard of those
awesome,
guys.
They're
handsome.
good.
And he smells
handsome.
very nice.
He is very
He
handsome.
smells like a good pair of shoes on. He definitely smells like weed. We had our grand opening for the venue this weekend. If you're unaware, we basically did a bunch of work in the venue. We got a brand new stage, brand new sound system.
Oh, no.
The room itself
awesome.
is a little bit bigger, so
It's
we have some
incredible,
bigger
yeah.
stages.
We blew out the
bands
back
coming
bar
through.
wall, so the back bar over there now is completely part of the venue if we want it to be.
Oh, nice.
And we've put the speakers in such a way that even in the back of the room it sounds great in there. So come out and check out a show out there. God, I'm really stoned. I'm sorry,
That's
guys.
fine. No, we expect that. It's fine.
They're making fun of me on there like, Dom looks so stoned.
Don't read the chat. You never read the
Well,
chat.
they're not wrong.
You should hear what they say about me, Dom.
Oh, no.
I don't even turn my computer on anymore.
I keep for some reason they're down on you.
No. Well, yeah, well, they're
down on everybody.
Like, hey,
no, nothing.
cool dick, keep talking about the fish sandwich. Poor Dom sitting there looking like he's sad.
They
No,
want
I owe
the
Dom a
fish.
sandwich.
They love the fish.
Oh no, I'm definitely going over to the depot to get me a sandwich. That's for sure.
There you go.
So yeah,
It worked.
And with the current, check out the current at Henry's Depot.
Aw.
Get that fish sandwich that I never got. Tell me how it is.
Tell me how it is.
Yeah. A hashtag fish sandwich.
Yeah, use it. Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for coming by. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So, okay, who are the people that
In your neighborhood.
think to themselves like, hey, I heard these people talking about this person.
I heard Tom talking about the fish sandwich.
and then
And then they run to Mike Smith and say, "Hey, Mike,
and then they're like,
did
why
you
are we
hear Tom and Dan talking about your fish sandwich? Is that what you're talking about?
So what is it? Maybe it's because they just assume they heard.
It's a drama pot stirrer. It's a drama pot stirrer.
Is it drama pot stirrer?
Yeah, they're going to the source, right? They're going to him and saying, "Hey, did you hear this? What are you going to do? You're going to retaliate?" When it's really a nothing burger. There's nothing here.
But I want to.
We love that guy. We love his products. We've always been a friend of his, and we love him. So what's the problem? There's no problem.
I'll ask you this though: if someone tells you that someone's talking trash about you on a show, do you care?
I go and look. I go and listen
do
to
too.
it. Yeah, I go and listen to it, and then I'll deem whether or not I need to retaliate.
If someone's like, "Hey, this podcast is talking about you," I would be like, "Oh,
okay, I'll give you one. I'll give you. I'll give you. I'll give you. I'll give you a real world example. I'll give you a real world example. Somebody tweeted our friend and friend of the show, Tuttle, and said, "Hey, buddy, did you hear Mike Calta and Shannon Burke said you look like the fireworks shooter guy?"
You told me this morning, yeah. And then
he's
going crazy,
losing it. Well, you know what? I don't want to. He's
that
calm.
You look like him?
That Tuttle looks like him.
Okay.
He's calm, but he's mad. He's like, "F you," and he's a retaliate. He's like, "You can S this and S that and blah, 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 and take one of those with you and do that, and I'll do this and do that."
Did both of them say it independently?
Independently.
Or did they hear each other say
independently?
It? Okay, it's just like they both had the independent thought of that. Weird. He must look like him.
I mean, he doesn't not.
Yeah.
Accidental D-head. He doesn't mean to hurt your feelings.
That's a perfect example. So then Tuttle didn't hear that?
No.
Someone went to him and told him.
The Twitterverse came to him and said, "Hey, did you?" I'm giving you a good example. Yeah. So Twitter comes to him and says, "Hey, did you hear who blah 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 is saying about you?" And then,
but Twitter loves stirring the ass.
Well, I think that we are nothing more than a mirror of our digital communication.
You think if it wasn't for social media, someone would have told Tuttle in person?
No. You don't say those things in person.
Some people do.
But you do more now because social media, we spend so much time on social media and in this digital world that a lot of what we do in the digital world is now stemming and coming over into the forefront. So you're seeing more people act out. You're seeing more people in fights. More people fight online, right? That stuff's just backwards compatibility. It's retrofitting itself backwards into our lives. So we're spending all this time in the metaverse, in this digital world, and those allowances, those filters that we have, or lack thereof, we're looking at real world with the same filter. Hence more fights, hence more stuff. You know what I mean? At least that's my theory. There's my theory.
Is it okay? To me, though, because I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't want to think they're malicious or they just want to start drama.
I think some people think it's just funny. Some people do it for the drama or to troll, but I think some people think it's just funny.
And they probably
this was pretty innocent.
And I think
the fish sandwich.
They assume, because there's a psychology of if you listen to some show and you really like it, you just assume that everybody likes it
or if they're associated with the show, since we did the event together.
Yeah. Like everybody who's on the show listens to the show all the time.
Well, we get them all in a room like, all right, here we go. We're going to all listen. And I'm pressing play.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of our sponsors, like business owner sponsors, they don't have time. They don't have time to listen to any podcast. You know what I'm saying? They got a family. They got a business. They're not listening to anything. No. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they can't possibly listen to all the shows that we put out.
I mean, Jonathan from Organic, he's too busy to, I don't even think he's ever listened to us one time.
No, he farms in silence.
Yeah, that guy is too busy.
He just got a smartphone.
Yeah, he can barely take phone calls on it because he's so busy.
Yeah. So, and it's funny too because I think, and Daniel, tell me, speaking of listening, well,
I'm just going to repeat whatever you feel because that's kind of my role on the show. I mean, you already know what I'm going to say.
Earlier on in like my career, and then in like radio, I assumed that like once it was out there that everybody knew about it or heard it or whatever.
Yeah.
And through years, I've told myself like, oh, they didn't hear it. No one listens.
I know this blows your mind, but there are people that listen to you currently that don't know you were Drunky the Bear. There are people that listen to us currently that didn't know.
Saw some Drunky the Bear jerseys at the Predators game last week.
There were people that listened to the show.
When you text me that, I'm like, oh, Sam's getting me.
A little bit. It was a nice way of getting him.
Yeah.
It was like
they're still repping you out there.
It was like positively passive.
Yeah.
So
there are still people that don't believe I did the buddy calls in the Monster. There are people that listen to me now that people. And I'm not gonna make the mistake of calling them stupid people. They're not. It's just we all pick and choose
Brains
the amount
work
of information.
differently.
Yeah, we only have so many decisions we can make throughout the day.
Yeah, and it's 20 years ago, so we forget how long ago it actually was. Speaking of the old D Bear jerseys at the Preds game,
Does that make you mad?
They were like
No.
second row.
It should make
I
you.
immediately
it should make
thought
you happy.
I wanted. No, this is what I mean. I immediately thought to myself, I got to bring my sons there so they could see it. They see their old man.
Tim said that he's offered to bring you into the end zone.
No, I know.
Says you never respond.
Well, because if I go to some VIP thing, then they're it's like Justin Bieber, the Predators. They all come around and they're hounding me.
You're the Justin Bieber of the.
First he's King Tut, now he's Justin
Hold on a second.
Bieber
That
of
is
the Predators.
That's the most insulting thing you've ever said about
Those
yourself.
don't even go together.
I know. It's the most insulting thing you could ever say about yourself. He said, "I'm the Justin Bieber of the Predators." Okay, fine. You are. I don't want to be that. That's horrible. I don't want to effing be that.
Anyway, I want to bring my sons there so they can see the D Bear jerseys that I represent. Which, by the way,
But do they know that you played a character called Drunky the Bear?
Yeah,
Like
do they even
No,
know?
If I ask Tommy,
Do they know what drunky is?
if I ask Tommy Van, if I go, "Hey, buddy, like, your dad used to wear a costume. What was it, and what was his name?" Would he be like, "I don't know"?
Well, let's call him and find out. Call my wife, and we'll put him on.
My wife. All right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, this could either
We'll put my
This
son-
is either going to make you feel great or horrible.
Okay, so we'll get Tommy on the line, and then you ask him about my past and see how much he knows. Because I've told him multiple times at dinner.
Yeah, but he's not
I
known
showed
for
him
his
the
retention levels,
You're
right?
not
Like,
well, he's,
how
my
good
son.
is he at retaining information?
He's my son.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you said he has no feelings like you. He said he could sit in silence for hours.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
his
yeah.
record like 4.5 hours? He sat in silence one time.
I've told him, I've shown him Jump a Gravedigger multiple times to the point where they're tired of seeing it. One time,
do they know you worked for the radio station?
They have a loose concept. They were more impressed about YouTube than me on YouTube. Like
So is Maisie. So is Maisie.
so-
When she sees me on Twitch, she's like, "You do Twitch." She knows what Twitch is. She has no concept of podcasting.
Yeah.
She straight forwarded me, bro.
Oh, yeah. Tommy forwarded you.
Well,
He got time for this. He's playing Roblox.
Does Tommy have his own number I can call?
He has his own phone. So does May.
He does.
But it's like an old phone.
I could text them, but
Yeah, you might as well. They text now.
I texted Maisie one time. She just wrote back pee pee poo poo. That's all they write back.
Anyway, now I want to bring my son so I could show them like, hey, they're wearing.
It was
daddy's-
fun.
Sam said it was fun as an experience, but she said the football.
I mean,
Well, it's never been about the football.
Right.
Like
Hey,
that's when I was.
It
playing.
was fast. Like in its heyday, it was really fun. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really fast football, really fun.
Who owns it now? Does old David Siegel still own it?
I don't know. There were tons of families there, though.
Yeah.
Kids seem to really love it.
Well, I'm sure it's like.
How many aren't there
cheap
like
ticket,
3 teams in the league now?
I don't. Yeah.
It always makes me upset.
Nate Starling owns them.
No, new owner. Weird.
Like the star. Is it
They have a
Sterling
new
or
owner?
Starling?
Starling.
Starling.
Yeah. Because
What's his deal?
I don't know. Let's see.
everybody likes it, man. Football. That's why these teams. That's why the USL is going on right now, and then it keeps folding, and then it keeps coming back.
Well,
and
people
same-
still watch it.
owning. Well,
I watched it. Not so good. Not so good.
Has nothing to do with what the people want. It's people want to own a football team, and there always will be a business owner that has enough money to risk wasting it just so they could say they're owner of a football team. That's why I think that's.
Yeah, he says he's always been an arena football fan and a devoted Orlando Predators fan.
Yep, there and now he's got some extra cash.
So it's a nostalgia buy.
He got a couple clients in his landscaping business, some mega clients. And you like some.
I made it on the Jumbotron twice.
Oh yeah.
I think I know one.
Jumbo.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't go.
now I'm doing it. I'm just,
See, Daniel's thinking, what up, there?
I am thinking it. I mean, it's the only Tron that can be used. I mean, you're not gonna put those things on a mini Tron. how's that gonna work
Almost
out
hit
for
the
you?
old man button. That was a dad joke.
It was
So
a dad joke.
who won?
Not the Predators.
If she was on the Jumbotron, everybody
And it
won.
was their last home game of the season.
Oh,
That was a trick question.
yeah.
No one could. I'm joking.
What was the score?
I don't even remember.
I remember you'd get some ridiculous scores.
Yeah,
You'd be like
yeah.
75-7.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
a lot.
Do they still play Welcome to the Jungle?
Yeah.
Oh,
they had a dad band that they played during
they love
they're doing the band
intermission. And
they do the band thing.
They had mini pyro, and one of their things caught on fire, and they couldn't get it out. It's great because it's chaos.
Oh man,
it's fun because it's chaos.
Mini pyro.
I wonder if they still.
It was 37-34. Jacksonville beat us.
The Sharks. Is that still owned by a Bushy, or were they all banned?
Is that Steve Bushy? No,
yeah, which Bushy was that? Barry Bushy?
I think they forced him out after the...
your brother stinks. You stink too. Get out of here.
Steve Caron.
Oh.
Old Steve Caron.
So I can't believe they still play Welcome to the Jungle.
Some things never die.
You would think, like, after the fifth owner...
nobody knows the movie Predator anymore, so it doesn't make even your mascot doesn't make any sense until the new Predator comes out. Like no kid looks at your mascot, they're like, yeah, their mascot looks like a vagina with teeth, because that's what a predator looks like, right?
Yeah. The actual Predator from the movie Predator,
right? With the dreads. Like if you showed that to a kid, you're like, what's that? They're like, I don't know. It looks like something from Fortnite. They don't know Predator.
Yeah. It's zombie dreads.
Yeah.
But
you should get back into the halftime game. It was way better than that.
For the love of God. Do you know how
long
what
what they have for halftime?
It was the dad band. I just said.
Oh, they just had a
Thanks for
normal
listening.
dad band. Oh, I didn't know. I thought because they used to have a dad band before the game started.
They might. I didn't make it in before. I got in a little late.
It's nice to
they
know.
definitely played the halftime.
It's nice to know that the quality of all of your halftime shows equals one dad band.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure there's some old school fans that are like, I miss Drunky's halftime.
I remember the exciting halftime.
I bet someone's tweeting
dad
about
band
it.
garbage.
Yeah. Like I remember when
no one tweeted about it. Not one person.
There's got to be one tweet where they miss my halftime show.
I'm going to take a page from your book, and I'm going to assume that not one person from the sitting in the stands knows how to tweet. Too old. Everybody there was old.
Someone that night said, I remember, like they're telling their son that they brought for the first time.
I remember one time they had a greyhound on there and he let loose with spray diarrhea all over the 50-yard line.
They're like, I remember in the halftime shows when Drunky the Bear, they're telling their
son.
Bertha
Stormtrooper out there. Somebody stole his monster dog tag. And
Barry Wagner's got a pie in
the face, but it was made of butter. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody. This days is gone.
So someone cares.
No.
Someone in that arena is sad.
Only Tim.
Someone is sad.
And Nick.
They don't have. Wait, I wonder why there's no young, hungry intern out there, radio intern that could do some halftime.
The reason no one cares is because those games are embarrassing.
Yeah, but there's got to be some young, hungry intern out there that wants to make a name for himself.
They're all at the minor league baseball games.
Are they?
They're doing stuff there.
Yeah.
Because they're the cool, wacky thing to do now.
Oh, the minor league.
That's kind of true. Like, what you were doing was a little ahead of its time. Like, the Savannah Bananas are basically they're taking your playbook and doing all the Drunky the Bear stuff, all the crazy fish out of water. Oh, look, Tim Tebow. Oh, look, they're dancing. Oh, look, they're line dancing. Oh, look, a baby pool filled with confetti.
They got it from me? Are you saying, like, maybe I revolutionized the halftime show of minor league sports?
I won't say that they're stealing it from you, but I will say you were ahead of your time, certainly.
Inspiration.
Well, you were doing funny halftime shows before people started doing funny halftime shows. Let's be honest. You can't do the death-defying halftime show anymore, right? That's not even a thing anymore because if people are too litigious and people get hurt.
Yeah.
You can't do
that.
I
was surprised they let it happen back then. They were like, what are you doing? My favorite one was in Jay Gruden, who eventually was an NFL coach,
and then was fired for smoking a joint outside an Applebee's with a girl sitting on the ground. It was something like that. I saw the video. It's like him and a girl sitting on the ground. They're just like sharing a joint.
I knew when I caught that football off the top of the ladder from him that he'd be smoking a joint at Applebee's. I was like, this is inevitable.
You saw it in a vision. As soon as your fingers touched the football, I was like, one day you will smoke a joint outside an Applebee's with a woman. He was sitting on the ground like a bum. Then they will use the footage against you later to make you appear to be a negative. They will use it against you.
That organization is horrible. I feel bad for him.
I feel really bad for him
because he got his shot as an NFL coach because he did great with Cincinnati,
He got really great with Cincinnati.
Washington,
dude,
is horrible.
He's a great football player and a great coach. He knows the game.
Yeah, but the whole organization that he got wrapped up in is tainted him. It's horrible organization. Like the owner, like they're trying to boot him out of the NFL, and like he probably. if we interview,
there
man,
are
I'd
good
love to
people that
interview
work
him.
for the Washington Commanders. There were good people that work for.
Because think about if he would have just stayed with Cincinnati as their
Who knows if he would have gotten
offensive head
another
coach.
shot.
Dude, he could have been in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They get Joe Burrow and I mean.
Oh, you're saying that they eventually would have made him head coach?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe he didn't take a head coach job. Some coaches in the NFL have turned down head coaching jobs to stay. I think
it happens all the time.
Because they would rather win a championship with the organization.
Or maybe they're just more comfortable in the role that they have.
Yeah. Or the longevity is there. Because the problem is with being an NFL head coach is like you take your shot, but you end up in a bad organization in a bad year and so whatever it is. Yeah. And then now you're not a coach and you're not even an offensive head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because that stinks too. And I guess the Gruden name of the whole thing got screwed him over too.
You could change your name.
Oh yeah, no. People would be like, "That's."
I know who you are.
I mean, it's not where you can't hide.
No, Gruden's here.
Man, I'd love to interview Jay Gruden. He probably would never do it.
No, but put it out there. You never know. Let's get him in here. Get him a fish sandwich. Let's roll.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
Squid Game. When's Squid Game 2 come out?
Oh, it's going to come out for sure.
25% more squid.
I'm sure it's going to come out.
Oh, yeah, they've already said.
Yeah.
But, without spoiling it, once you realize that the one guy is the guy, then it's like for the next season, it's going to unfold. It's going to be bigger, right?
Yeah,
it's going to kind of unfold.
It'll be like there's a Squid Game.
Yeah. There's a bigger squid.
There's a French Squid Game.
Oh, yeah. Look at my squid. Squid.
See, you find out the whole
tentacle.
world.
Look at my tentacles. Let's do some voicemails.
Yeah.
Maybe some emails. Sam, go ahead and warm those. I know they have to be warmed before they're read. Go ahead and warm the emails up a little bit. Yes, Tom.
Real quick. So, Stranger Things.
I've been out of it.
What's the age?
Season 1 was great. I loved season 1. And
season
then
1?
And then I bailed on it. I watched a little bit of season 2 when they did Scoops Ahoy, and then I didn't like that kid. And I'm like, I'm out.
What's the age?
12.
Where
12 and up.
Like what in BDMs out there? What's the youngest kid that's watched Stranger Things?
Oh, the youngest kid?
Because my wife gets scared.
Well,
of
babies
this.
watch it, right? Like sit there with their and does that
babies
have an
are
effect?
Fine. No.
But that has an effect on you, right? Like if I have my baby, and I did this with Maisie.
Babies can watch anything.
If I have my baby in one of those like a baby Bjorn or whatever that's sitting there, and I'm watching Stranger Things, my baby is still downloading that information and still like. It's getting the effects of the Demogorgon, or are they still around? The Demogorgons?
Yeah.
It's the monster. Okay, can we all agree that every alien's face shouldn't expand into a flower or a vagina? Can we stop that? Let's just stop it.
Somehow the most terrifying thing, although you would think...
It's also the best thing.
You're like...
If you know what I mean.
That animal wouldn't evolved into that being the most efficient technique to kill its prey.
Thank you.
Your flower flaps...
I'll chop those things off. I will chop your flower flaps off so hard.
Yeah. Like,
all I need is a samurai sword from the... I don't know how fast they are because they weren't really revealed when I bailed on the show. Remember, I've only seen season 1 and maybe 2 episodes of season 2.
Although maybe they're kind of relating it to a squid, how a squid grabs and then puts it towards his beak.
Too many squids.
And squids have they've been around for a long time, so maybe
those squids are
they would have
catching
died off
on the squids
if they
evolved.
If that the whole squid.
The Demogorgon looks no different to me than the plants in Plants vs. Zombies video game.
Yeah.
It's like a man, like a wrestler body with a flower head on it. That's what I see. Every time I see Demogorgon, I'm like, wrestler with flower head.
What does the chat room say about how young? Anybody in the chat room let their young kids watch
they
it?
They just said I watched Terminator 2 in theaters when I was 5.
Whoa, too young.
Well, hold on. Stranger Things, way more scary than Terminator 2.
Nobody's really saying anything about Stranger Things.
I agree. Terminator 2 is not a scary movie. Terminator 2 is an action movie.
Yeah.
My
dad
genre.
took me to see The Abyss when I was 10 years old.
I'm virtually certain my mom had to talk my dad out of letting me watch Porky's at 3. Horny.
Someone in the chat says their 12-year-old watches Stranger Things and he does not like scary movies.
That's what I said, 12. I nailed it.
Did he watch the most recent season? Because that's scary.
I think so.
I don't watch that stuff.
No, I'm not, like, if he doesn't like scary things, like the recent season is scary.
You were looking at me for approval.
I'm not the me.
Okay, let me ask you
not
this.
a baby.
Can your sons watch the Michael Jackson Thriller video?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he says he's on season 2. His
Oh,
wow.
wow. When did you get to 3? That's season 1. I'd let my sons watch season 1.
Yeah, it's not scary.
Because
they don't even show the Demogorgon.
This current season is the scariest season by far.
Do they ever do a callback? I know eventually they did a callback to Barb, but do they still do more callbacks to Barb being dead?
I haven't started the latest season.
I want to see a rotting body. Do they show her rotting body?
Don't spoil
I'm not going to
nothing.
spoil anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm
She's still alive?
I'm going to start it soon.
Anyway.
I bailed. Sorry, couldn't hold my attention. And you know what I hate? Because Juan, a good friend of the show, Juan, he told me, he's like, oh, man, this new season is
good.
great. He told me, he goes, it's probably the best. Oh, it's so good. It'll invigorate you. You'll love it. But then he told me something I don't like to hear. He told me, did you bail on it? I'm like, yeah, I bailed on it after season 1, a couple episodes into season 2, and then I bailed on it. He's like, nah, just skip 2 and 3, and then just start this 4th one. And he's like, you'll love it. And I'm like, can't do that. I am not engineered to be able to skip around like that. If I started reading all of the Encyclopedia Britannicas from A, I'd have to read all the way through them or bail on it entirely.
Okay, yeah. Well, you've always had that, like, once you do day after day of something, you enjoy
keeping the streak.
It gives,
keep the streak.
It makes you satisfied keeping the streak of something. Like if you do,
like my Peloton.
If you start it,
I've been breaking the streak because my back's like out of whack right now. It gives me anxiety knowing that I've broken my streak.
Yeah.
I still have a weekly streak. I just don't have a daily streak anymore.
Oh, so that's a new streak.
My new streak
what
is
if you
weekly.
break your weekly streak?
I got a monthly streak.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then you're just fat again. Then you're just fat. Yeah. Everybody who's got a monthly streak right now, you're fat.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
You're like, once a month is good. All right, let's do some voicemail.
All right, let's try with this one. I think this guy's just going to lob, pun intended, some baseball terminology at you.
Hey, Tom and Dan and Sam, this is Josh of the Silent BDMs. I was just sitting here watching the Tampa Bay game and I remember Dan picking up this anxiety-filled sport. It's all about the dirty dangles, the bar downs, and the red line bombers. Love y'all. Have a great time.
Love you too.
Is there a sect of the BDMs called the Silent BDMs?
Yeah. There's a whole group of guys that all they do is listen. They never, it's a one-way street for them. It's like, in my ears, stops.
What broke his silence?
Yeah,
well, baseball.
Oh, okay.
Baseball.
So the Dirty Danglers, what is that?
I don't know. Look up Dirty Danglers.
And what he said, the
Red Line Bombers.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, I know what that is too. That's why I had to get a couple in this week because my wife's about to be on her Red Line Bomber. And when she's on the bomber, I'm...
Well... There's truck nuts called Dirty Danglers. I don't know if that's
Wait, there's
what he's
different competitors in the truck nut game? I thought there was, once you have truck nuts, there's there's truck nut brand, and then there's Dirty Dangler brand truck nuts?
Apparently. Oh, Dirty Danglers is hockey.
Okay. Oh, I am back into hockey, too. Oh, well, not back into it.
I thought he was talking about baseball.
That's what I thought, too.
He got his terms wrong.
Well, look up Red Line Bombers, whatever that is.
Okay, I'm going to try to guess.
Red Line Bombers?
Or is he maybe that's a group of people or a team?
The Red Line Bombers?
Or is it like something within the game of baseball?
I can't see. I don't think of any red lines. They're mostly white lines. There's you can do a line drive, but that's because you hit it to the line and it drives all the way out into the outfield.
Anything, Sam?
He might have just made that up to troll us.
Well done. Yeah, you're right.
Well done.
You trolled us. Look what you did.
Yeah, are you happy? Are you happy now?
Oh, you silent BDMs.
Let's talk about this one right here. This might be Canadian Josh, who, by the way, I feel like we haven't talked to that guy in a minute.
Hello, Tom, Dan, and Sam. It's Canadian Josh. This message is for the dickhead nerd who called in to give Dan the old what for regarding Dan's aversion to Marvel movies and all the other stupid hero movies that people like EJ and this nerd like. Dan, I'm 100% with you. The movies are shit. They are nothing but Hollywood drivel, just with no creativity, all CGI, just so they can crank out garbage, thoughtless garbage, and make lots of money. So maybe, nerd, your little mind can't get your head around that and actually apply your brain to some sort of creativity and critical thinking and something thought-provoking. I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. Fuck you, nerd.
Oh wow.
Come on, man.
That's the harshest Josh has ever come at somebody. That must have actually spoken to him.
I like the Marvel movies now because my sons like them. So now I'm on the other side of the argument. I appreciate them.
Well, you have to have a
You're a
side of the
sellout,
argument.
man.
Yeah, I'm selling out on
I mean,
you
you
guys.
just like them because they all actually sit there
yeah.
and watch them with you.
Yeah. But that just because of what that did for me, now I appreciate them, and whoever's involved with them, I thank you for doing. You gave me 2 hours with my sons, and then now. We talk about hey, the only person. Now I'm stealing EJ's stuff. I made fun of him for years.
Now think about what you just said. Does anybody in our listening audience, and everyone in this room included, want to ever say the phrase, I'm stealing EJ's stuff? No one says that, especially comedians.
Well, over the years of EJ bothering us with all the stuff.
Bothering us? You have him do a bit.
He's the single greatest charity case on this show, is that guy.
And so I've absorbed some of it, and one of the facts that now I'm impressing my sons with
the Thor hammer one. Okay.
I'm like, no one can lift Thor's hammer except for Thor and one other character, and they're like, who? Superman? Then they start going through. I'm like, no, you idiots! It's the Hulk.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, the Incredible
So wait a
Hulk.
minute. You're just bullying your children about Marvel?
Well,
but it's Gray Hulk, not Green Hulk.
Huh?
It's Gray Hulk, not Green Hulk.
Oh,
when he got in the fight with Red Hulk.
They just believe
I made all that up.
Oh,
see how stupid it is? You see how stupid I got you?
But then they're impressed that I know this information, and they're interested in me telling them. Usually when I'm telling them, they could care less.
Who's their favorite character? Is it still Spider-Man?
That's a good question. I don't know their favorite. They
he
like
just bullies them about what they don't know.
they like Doctor Strange. Although the most recent Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. I didn't realize it's considered the first ever Marvel horror movie.
Oh, is that true?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And I was just like, my sons. I'm not worried about scaring them because snowflake.
What do you think? They're gonna. It's just one nightmare. It's a night of nightmares. It's fine. You go in there.
They already sleep with mom and dad anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it makes it worse because now they're afraid of. I'm not gonna ruin it, but it gets. I'm like, whoa, they went that way. I was like,
wow, didn't see that coming, Dr. Strange. That is strange.
Yeah. Then I was like, my sons are terrified.
Yeah, I see what you gotta be careful with that.
Well, only because I'm selfish, and then now they can't be left alone in the rooms or whatever because they're terrified by the stuff they just saw. Of course they are because
you showed them something they shouldn't have seen. yeah, that makes sense.
Probably too young. Although it's fine, but I don't know, 7 years old. I do the Florida parental guide. I think everybody
I was
does.
watching the Death Wish movies. I was watching Chuck Norris Delta Force.
Oh, yeah.
I was seeing boobies before I even knew what they were doing. I didn't know what they were, but I knew I wasn't supposed to be seeing them.
They tell me PG-13, and I'm like, 7's fine.
Yeah, I remember sitting with my...
That's not even close.
My dad... I've told this story before, maybe not on ACT, but I remember my dad, while my mom was cooking country-style steak, we had a sunken living room because that's what you had in the 70s, and the entire family was in there in front of our Zenith TV waiting for my dad to get back from box office video with a couple of the old flicks that he rented. He was going to get a good old action flick for everybody, and he got one of the Death Wish movies that opens with a rape scene on a pinball machine. Oh yeah, it's in my brain. The trauma is in there. I remember sitting with my mom and dad, and I remember my mom standing up and hitting eject, not stop. She hit eject, which blew the tape out of there, and she took it and ran to the back bedroom crying.
Oh,
it was terrifying, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, but I'm like your dad.
And then when he went to
rated R, you're like,
and then my mom's like, "Did you rent anything other than Death Wish?" And he's like, "Yeah, Death Wish 2." That's not a punchline I wrote. That's a real thing that happened.
What is that? Where we don't pay attention to these standards that they're trying to tell us, hey. 13, bro.
We don't do it.
They were like, nah. And we're not even close. Like I'm saying, I'm like 7's fine.
I'm as bad as
it's
you.
Not even 11, okay, is close enough. Yeah. But it's like 7.
No, you get careful when you say
6,
close enough. Never say close enough in Florida. You get yourself into a lot of trouble. I'll follow you to hell. Do you know the number of toys that I purchased for Maisie before the age of 3 that were unusable because I had no concept of her age and what she could do at her age. She's 2 years old and buying her Xbox controller. I'm like, I gotta get her all this stuff. Like, no, you're an idiot. You're like, just go by the age, the oldest age. If it says 12 and up, they mean it.
But my wife has told me about watching stuff that rated R movies, like the Clan of the Bear Cave and stuff, where they're cousins. No one was watching us in the 80s.
Right.
And we were watching like horrible rated R movies, Death Wish and stuff like stuff that was meant for adults, obviously. And I'm not talking like, hey, this kid's 14 and a half. He's about to get his learner's permit. It's like this kid is 6 and a half. He's in kindergarten. Yeah. Like, they're learning how to color.
Can't even write cursive.
They're learning how to color, and you're showing them a rape scene.
Yeah, it's too much. Well, I didn't know what was happening.
No one cared.
Yeah. I was like, why are they beating up that woman? And I was like, get out of the way, lady. They're trying to play pinball. Like, I didn't know what was happening.
Well, we need to call my mom. Did I tell you about my mom from the 80s bit that I want to do?
Oh, I thought you meant you had. Did I tell you I have a different mom now?
No. I talked to my mom about this, and she agreed to it. I was like, I want to do a bit on the show where we talk to a mom from the 80s and ask her what was she thinking when
the old what were you thinking?
Well, when we just watching rated R movies, like my dad was like, anytime I'm thirsty, I was talking
couple sips of beer.
Well, on the road trip while my dad drank and drove to Disney World. We didn't bring any sort of waters or like.
Well, he did.
Well, like he had his beers, his cooler beers, but like my mom didn't bring me Capri Suns or like.
No Plan Van.
Yeah. We did, like there wasn't even
Capri Suns. Now Andrea comes out. We leave the house with a Camelback of purified water.
Like
we leave like with a literally like we're a desert island. Like we're going out to look for survivors.
And then I would, by the way, no seatbelt. I'd just be wrestling with my siblings in the back, and nobody would like. It was like a plane. Once we left the driveway, it was like seatbelts off.
Yeah.
But it was also seatbelts are optional. You could wrestle back there. And then I'd get so thirsty, I'd be like, Mom, I'm thirsty. And then
take a pull off of this.
My dad
put some hair in your nuts.
He like sip my Bud regular beer that he was driving with, and then I'd wet my mouth up.
Yeah, you still do that now.
Yeah.
From now on, when he takes a sip of White Label Mary, so.
And I remember that kid. I'm like, ah! But as time progressed, I'm like, oh, not that bad.
Well, your taste buds dull to the point where the only thing you can taste is the hops and the malt and barley.
Yeah.
Let's try this one.
Hello, Tom and Dan, Sam. I was feeling very nostalgic listening to the first Eminem CD, Wilson Shady. And he talked about how he slit his dad's throat between the head.
I can't listen to that background noise. He goes back and he revisits the old Eminem CD.
Yeah.
And
the original?
Yeah, the original. I think he makes a comment about you blasting it in your mini truck or something.
Oh, yeah. That's what you did in 1999, right?
Yep, that is what you did. What was your first car, Sam?
It was a GMC Jimmy.
That's a dope first car.
And it had bright blue hood scoops.
That's cool.
And the inside of the air vents were also painted the exact same blue.
That's kind of cool. Somebody tried to trick it out.
Yeah.
I like how they do this with like spoilers and stuff. Where you put a spoiler on your Honda Accord, and then you're like, "This is for downdraft, so it pushes the tires." Like what? Like it's ridiculous.
It did nothing. Yeah.
This is a 4-cylinder.
Oh my God! I've got a great dad joke. What? I should write on a piece of paper, "Haley Joel Osment was dead the whole time," and tape it to the back of your truck. That's funny, dude.
But the air scoops are like, this thing needs to force air into the engine to get another
cold air. You got to get a cold air intake.
Another 5 horsepower out of it.
Let's try this one.
Hey guys, sorry if you can hear my AC in the background. I can't be bothered to get up and get it. I should though. Dan is gonna hate this. Let me just keep going. What do you guys think about people who are not healthy giving you health advice? I ask this because someone I know, someone in my family, is often gives me gives me health advice, or it just tells me like, that's not food, or you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't. I don't want to sound mean. This person recently had blood work and came back like 2 days ago. Told me that basically they're old, they're in their 60s, but they told me like my blood work came back and everything is wrong.
Everything's wrong.
I just love it. And this guy's delivering his voice, really playing it. How wonderful! I love this voicemail. This is my voicemail of the week. He continues.
Blood in my urine. I got this.
Blood
in
the
just
urine.
Like, I'm not surprised at all. But they seem like they're actually genuinely surprised. And so when this person tells me that a blueberry muffin isn't lunch, I know you're right, but in my head I'm like, I can't listen to you. Like, I feel like that'd be like, I don't know, but yeah, but I will just like Tom awkwardly just I'm not gonna. I'll let her say whatever she wants.
No, you gotta step in, and you gotta be like, that's not true, right? Like if they're like, the correct answer is if they're like, a blueberry muffin isn't lunch. You go, well, you just got your blood work
lunch
done.
is whatever the hell I want it to be. By the way,
like, look, you need to worry about your blood work. Maybe you need a blueberry muffin.
It's the
might help you.
Yeah.
It's the captain from Jaws giving you boating safety tips.
Yeah.
It was like, what do you, like, sir, you die.
Yeah.
From basically, you could have prevented this.
Yeah,
you didn't even have to get in your boat to hunt the shark. You could still be alive. He's killing you. Me and Daniel laughed about this, and because we have worked in environments where there's been people that are promoting some sort of workout or whatever, and then we've gone to said
it's typically
workout.
a money making,
and then a person that's more unhealthy than you is heading the class, or like telling you to push yourself, or like you could do 2 more push-ups, and then it's like, it is funny hearing someone trying to motivate you. And they are worse off than you are.
And you look at them and you're like, wow.
Yeah. You're not even taking your own advice. What? Like, how am I supposed to be motivated by the person that's not
let me try
taking
telling
their own
you
advice?
to do a couple of things. And you do those, and then we'll see.
Yeah. You got the Peloton instructors are riding the bike with you.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be better than you are.
There's controversy in there. We can dovetail into this for a second. There's controversy in there. And I'm seeing it on the, any Facebook group where you have 100,000 people in it is just going to be a hellhole. But the official Peloton group, there are a bunch of people in there that are, not a bunch, a few people in there that are commenting that they would like to see some instructors that are bigger. And I'm okay with that too, but
to more represent them or whatever.
Right, but my point is
inclusivity.
Yeah, I get it, but the facts are, most of your really good cyclists and the people that excel at this sport are never, and I said never, are never going to be really big. It's just not a thing. It's not. Because if they're really good at it, chances are them doing that a lot has made them small. That's just the way calories in, calories out works.
That's not my physics.
So it makes me... It hurts me sometimes because what these people are looking for, I think maybe you're looking for something that doesn't really, it's not real. It doesn't really exist. Yeah, we can get somebody who's very large on a bike, but their workouts that they run aren't going to be as good as the ones that are run by the guy who's the best at riding the bike.
Now, if you're in a lineman class, like an NFL lineman,
or strength, like there are a lot of bigger dudes who are like strength dudes.
Magnuson, like, that guy's got a beer gun,
but he needs
like
it.
Me.
Yeah, but he needs that weight.
Like
it's a useful weight for him. Because it anchors his body. Like,
and
he's not going for cut. He's going for strength.
You need an insane amount of calories, and the heavier you are, the more muscle you'll build. Blah blah blah. But if you're a cyclist, then there's no way around it. You're right, Daniel. Although I would like to see a big old chunk is sweating his way through, trying to get his way through one Peloton.
It's hard. I mean, it's like, and I'm sure there are guys that can.
He has to stop.
Look, there are guys that do it. I'm sure there's like one or two, but it's the minority. It's not, you're not going to get a lot of those. So what you're asking for is going to be really hard to do.
Well, as a profession, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of cyclists that are big people that can do the same workouts, no problem. But to make it your life's goal, because these people are professionals. Like
they do
the Peloton
it like 5 times a day.
And the Peloton instructors, they've worked their way up in the fitness industry.
It's not their first job.
Their whole life. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
most of them are lifers in that field, have been there forever. But I just find it interesting because everybody wants to
talk too. Like that's the thing. It's not even just about being good at the actual riding. You have to be good at riding and teaching the class and motivating and knowing what that filling time. But you have to be an improv. Like those jobs are hard as hell.
Everybody asks for things in that land, and you know what's funny is that as I continue and I get older in age, I realize that there really aren't that many. I don't know why I've never looked at it like this, but I never look at it like there are very few men that I know that are 5'2". I never look at that. Like I'm never, very rarely during the day am I aware of my height.
Yeah.
I don't think about it ever. Not even one time. Never have.
But you told me before you don't even like looking at short people.
They're gross. They're disgusting. Yes. But you don't see me asking, we need a short guy Peloton instructor. You don't see me begging for it. I can't work out unless I see somebody who's 5'2" on the bike.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. I guess it just becomes hey, like we want to see.
I don't want to see me on the bike. That's disgusting. I want to see somebody hot.
I think what it really equates to is like people just want to see some difference. Like they get tired of the same old thing. The problem is like it's like what if you are a wacky '90s radio show host. You are going to look and act a certain way. Like I've seen enough in my life.
Right.
And you know why? It's not because of any reason why that personality was driven towards that job, right?
Yes.
And so like if you are a Peloton instructor, you're that personality and
they're going to look a lot alike.
And they're driven towards
you're
going
to like the way you look.
And it has nothing to do with like now body type and stuff like that is specific to that. I think there's all race.
Most rock lead singers will look a certain way. Yeah. Most lead singer in rap artists will look a certain. Most of them will.
Because in Peloton, I'm sure they have a vast variety of ethnicities, coaches, but they're all fit cyclists. Because that's what they do all the time.
Yeah, it's hard. It would be hard for me just on the surface.
One of them should get big though, because they can.
No, it's got to be real big. Because some of the people that they want, like some of these people on these boards, what they're asking for, it's completely unattainable.
Yeah.
I want a guy who's 5'10", 300 pounds. I'm like, no, dude. It's just not. You're not going to find that. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be realistic.
He can go fast for 38 seconds. You're going to win them good.
It's just not going to work. We got to take a break.
All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back to a corporate time. Let's do some emails.
Okay. Hey guys, long-time listener. I'm not on any type of social media. I just listen to your stuff through the iHeart app. I am a True Leave customer.
What? I'm sorry.
I
didn't know we were on.
There's one. There's one.
I've gone to 3 True Leaves, the one in Port Orange, the one in Orange City, and the one in Longwood, and the people that I've had there have no idea who Tom and Dan are. They don't know that they're a sponsor, and it just disappoints me. And I've sent massive amounts of receipts to one of the emails I have for Tom and Dan, and I've gotten no type of swag. So this year, I did not renew my membership because I was just disappointed. But I started listening to you guys again on Friday, and I'm making the decision to renew my subscription with you guys just to write it out with iHeart app. Just keeping it real with y'all.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Did you? Hold on. We've sent out, and I've talked to Eric and Tony. Like when you fill out that form,
you get stuff.
It doesn't sound like they filled out the form. Is what seems to be the problem here.
Okay.
They say that they've sent massive amounts of receipts to one of the emails I have for Tom and Dan.
If they sent it to me,
that's not what we said.
Well, those receipts go to Tony. If they send me a receipt, I take care of those people too.
But also that's we say like, hey, fill out the form, because then the form we propagate into a list that goes to Eric. There's a system.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's a system.
Well, sometimes, you may send an email of a receipt, and then if that doesn't get added to the form, it was like there's a reason we had a system. So sorry about that.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then what else was he bitching about?
They signed back up.
Yeah, it's all is well. They're just keeping it real with us.
Up with
they
us.
just wanted to let us know that the True Leave thing.
Did he say he was going to renew his?
They did. They said they did not renew
because of True Leave.
And I think also because they didn't get any swag from the emails that they sent with the receipts.
Correct.
But that's all you want. You didn't want the weed. The weed is the best part. You're only hurting yourself by not renewing your medical marijuana thing.
Yeah, that email was a
mess.
mess.
No, I think the renewal was, I believe, a BDM subscription.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Next email.
Lying to adults. What's up, everyone? I was listening/watching you on YouTube on the Friday Free Show from 6/17/22, and I want to comment on Tom's perspective of telling your doctor what all medications you're on. He is correct to not include the reefer. I was honest about what I used, except for the amount I drink, with my primary. About 9 months later, I asked him for an Adderall prescription. Because he knew that I smoked the flowers, he said he couldn't prescribe me Adderall because it's a controlled substance, and if I'm using another controlled substance, they can't prescribe the chemical one. They made me take a drug test to prove I was clean of weed before getting the prescription for Adderall. By the way, I don't have a medical marijuana card, so that may be why they made me prove it wasn't in my system. Either way, love the show, and don't tell them doctors anything. P.S.
No, that's not. No, this guy's an idiot. You don't just. You're like,
I agree with him.
Hey, take it from me, old Weed Jared. Don't tell your doctor nothing.
He also lied about the amount he drank.
That's stupid. This is all stupid.
But he is correct in that some doctors will not prescribe both if they know that you have.
I mean, sure. And some
doctors. I mean, just find a new doctor.
Some doctors are bad doctors. Some doctors are black. Some are white. Some are Chinese.
P.S. Dan, I do AC for a living in Brevard. We can tell you didn't take the filter out yesterday, but if you actually had, we probably couldn't tell.
I actually had not, so you could tell. For this guy, I've always been the type of person. It's very simple to me. If I'm going to a doctor, if I'm going to a therapist, if I'm going to a mechanic, if I'm going to anybody that's doing a service for me, what benefit is it of mine to lie to them or to not tell them the truth?
Well,
I don't think it does anything for me. If that's the case, if I'm going to lie to them, then why not just not use them?
Yeah, why not
just do it yourself?
But why? It's like offering up information that they don't need to know.
Well, you do that all the time.
But I do that on
You're
the show.
You're the king of offering up too much information.
But when I'm talking to my doc, especially if it can hinder future transactions that I need something from him, which that could. So it's like, why does my doctor need? I never told my general doctor that I had a medical marijuana license because first he's never asked, and if he did, I'd lie.
Well, on the paperwork saying like what other medications you're on, you're supposed to put that down.
Because I'm like, there's nothing that marijuana interacts with. That's ever gonna bother me.
You're doing it. You're answering the question before you know the answer.
Like I tell, if it's another doctor I go to, they ask me what medications. I'll put Adderall sometimes because I'm like, oh, that seems like a strong one. Like if that you give me something else, and they're like, oh, Adderall, amphetamine, stop your heart. Like I believe that, but the weed, I'm like, it's not
but I
don't
think that we're doing it right by design. The whole idea is to go there and tell the truth. It's not to go there and cherry pick the things you tell your doctor.
But then I'm not going to get what I want.
Well, but
if I tell the truth,
are you there? Are you at the doctor to get what you want? Are you at the doctor to get what you need and to live longer and be healthy?
I've never been to a doctor to not get what I want. But for any
that's insane. That's what crazy people say.
No, well, because I've never.
How are we with the hands? Are we getting the hands checked
No,
out?
we ain't gonna do that.
We left the hands.
Yeah, hands are fine. He'll wait until they're literally unusable.
I've never had a serious medical problem.
You're having one. Your hands are a serious medical problem.
No, that's not serious. It's just a carpal tunnel.
I mean, it's serious enough for you to say that you can't type or
it's a pain in the ass.
You can't use your phone. You can't drive. You can't feel the touch of a woman.
I could drive. My hands are numb and they hurt at night. But it's not. I'm not gonna die from it, or I'm not gonna have some sort of. You know what I'm saying? So like now, if I had some
there was a time when your health was so bad that you had to pull over, and your wife called an ambulance.
That was because I was having anxiety attacks. It's all anxiety.
You lost your voice 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you guys about this.
Another medical problem.
My feet.
You
my
guys are
feet.
falling apart.
My feet
we
are
got time.
real smarty feet.
So my buddy Fernando was in town. And I was watching.
Yeah, it was good to see him.
I was telling him about the show Alone on Netflix. It started off on a History Channel, and now it's just about like survivalists that go and compete against each other, who could last the longest in Alaska. I watched season 7. I told you guys about it. So the new season is on.
Oh, it's brand new?
This is season 9. I guess they did a whole other season even after that. And then we started watching it, and there's one like survivalist dad there. And I don't mean to laugh at him, but he had, and like in his interview, he's talking to the camera because they all film themselves.
Yeah.
Survival man style.
Yeah.
And he's filming himself, and he decided to build this ridiculous, awesome log cabin. And it was insane. Like, I was like, wow, this guy, he built an amazing log cabin. I'm like, he's going to win. But the problem was he spent 3 days straight hard ass working and no time scavenging for food or hunting or whatever.
Yeah, put all of his eggs in the
cabin.
Yep.
And then
too much cabining.
So his body started breaking down fast and faster than the other contestants, right? And so then
I'm peeing my
He's
pants.
just burning calories.
Burning like for 3 days building. And so then he starts he's like, my heart's beating, and then he starts saying like, he's like, I had a heart attack 8 years ago. And this is, he's legitimately worried, but he's like, I had a heart attack 8 years ago. So
why not work to death?
That
sounds like someone I know.
So then this guy is having a full-blown panic attack, laying in his cabin, and
at least he's got the cabin.
Right.
He's rolling back and forth. He's like, "Don't die! No,
Don't die!
No, don't die!"
What, really?
Yeah. He's having a freak out, and he's like, "My heart, don't die!" And
No one intervened?
He's by himself. He's filming himself in the middle of nowhere, scraping,
There's
"Don't die!"
no producers in those woods.
No, like he's got a sat phone.
What's the name of the show again?
Alone. The fat dad has anxiety attack. Because so then he's like, "Oh, my heart! I'm having a heart attack! I'm dying!" He's like, "Don't die!" He starts screaming, "Don't die!" He's crying, and this is going on for a long time because so then he calls and then help, right? And then like they come and rescue him in a boat. But after he called, you could see where that curbed some of his anxiety. And I think he knew at that point, like, uh-oh, I'm not having a heart attack. I was having
a panic attack, and now I'm disqualified.
Yeah. He's like, I was having a panic attack, and now legitimately the guy did have a heart attack, but he was cleared by his doctors to even go and attempt this. So I imagine that his heart wasn't that bad. Although he did say later in the post interview that his heart was only working at 30%.
I'm sending you a link.
Yeah, send me a link.
But then
I can't find it.
I questioned that. I'm like, your heart was only
Hopefully
working 30%, and the producers of Alone and everybody, like, they cleared you because.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'll give you one.
They don't want someone dying. They would,
Was his name Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves who's been there a while. He's a closing pitcher named Kenley Jansen. He 2 weeks ago, I get a tweet that he is now on injured reserve. I'm like, well, that's weird. He's the guy's in his prime, irregular heartbeat. And then he came out with a statement. He's like, I've been dealing with this since I was 22. I just need to get it checked out.
We've seen that.
But it was weird. I'd never seen it in professional sports where he voluntarily pulled himself and then got checked out, is doing his things to make sure he's okay, and then he's back out. He's back on there now.
I'm kind of making fun of this guy, but I realize, like, listen, you're on this competition, you got a family, like, nothing's worth dying for, even $500,000,
right.
like, whatever, but he had a panic attack.
There he is.
Because
holding his chest.
Oh, man.
This
is sad, dude.
Let
me pull this up.
Maybe I'm a sick. I laugh at people having panic attacks.
You laugh at me all the time.
I know.
Well, when you know he's okay.
Yeah.
If he actually did have a heart attack or something. Oh, the sound in the back.
Heart attack. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, leave him alone.
Is this what I look like?
Yeah, every day.
Oh, I don't want to tap, and I don't want to.
Oh, I guess that sounds just like me.
You do that.
I love this guy.
You do that noise.
I do that.
Yeah.
That sounds just like me.
So he calls, and they come and rescue him. Then they
Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. Go away.
I do that. I lay in bed. I go away, go away, go away, go away. I'm talking to Andrea.
That's how I knew it was a panic attack, because I was like, people who are having heart attacks don't tell their heart attack to go away. They're like, yeah. They're like, I'm
Help!
You know what? No.
They're not like, go away, heart attack, go away.
Oh my God.
They're telling the panic attack to go away because it's ghosts in your brain. I've worked with someone with ghosts in his brain.
Ghosts in the brain.
That's what it is.
Have you ever seen the video of the comedian Tommy Coopers? You ever heard about comedian Tommy? Okay, so this guy, he was apparently a British phenom. Like this guy in England, he was a stand-up comedian, sort of a proppy, gaggy act, and people loved him. And he was doing this show called The Queen's Throne Live or something. And he's on the stage, and he's doing his bit, and he's having a heart attack live on the stage during the bit. And as he's having the heart attack, and because you'll see how people actually have a heart attack, or some people can, how quiet he is and how he just gets heavy breathing, and he just dies on the stage, and everybody's laughing because they think it's part of the bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this?
Oh man.
Oh, it's so.
I don't want to watch someone have a heart attack.
No, it's great.
Carlos Santana passed out on stage last night. They had to take him off the stage.
Okay, here. Watch.
His magic skills to become a member of the Magic Circle.
So here he is doing the thing. Let's see if they got him here. He's doing it, and then at the end, you see there he is. He
God.
He slumps down, and you can just hear him breathing, and they just let it roll, man. They just let the whole thing roll.
That's sad.
No, it's
I'm
not.
laughing at
It's
the
not
panic
sad,
attack.
'cause if you- it's the same thing.
No, hold on.
It's the same thing.
One guy died, and the other guy had a
But if this guy
panic
was
attack.
having a heart attack and you were watching it for the first time, you'd still be laughing. At the end, they'd say, and he died. You'd be like, oh, wow, I shouldn't have done that.
No, well, I wasn't.
It's no different.
I wasn't laughing at the time until at the post interview. The guy never mentioned, like, they rushed him to the hospital and everything.
And he was fine.
Well, this is how I know it was a panic attack. He never said, hey, yeah, the doctor said I was, my heart went into arrhythmia because of lack of food. Or what? They never said anything. He just like, I went to the hospital, whatever. So but he also didn't say it was just a panic attack. He justified it by saying, I told myself that if my heart started hurting, I would call it quits for my family. But really, it's like having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I think I would turn the camera off because it's either,
I know I would.
It's either a panic attack or a heart attack, and I'm gonna die out here. I don't want it on film.
You don't want your kids seeing that,
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't even want it to exist on film because I know Netflix is gonna leak it.
Can I give you another layer? Let me give you another layer from a person that suffers from diagnosed anxiety. I don't necessarily know that he wasn't putting on.
Right.
Because when I have a bad attack, I can't do anything but the attack. I've been sitting there where I've loaded up, let's say I've loaded up to play MLB's The Show, and I've fired up the Xbox, and I have the controller in my hand, I have a drink in front of me, and I've had this instance happen to me where I start having an anxiety attack, and Andrea will be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll just set the controller down, and I go, I can't do this.
Can't do anything, yeah.
Give me a second, and I'll just go walk away. There is no such thing as continue doing it like so. I don't know. Maybe everybody's different. I get that, but it would be really hard to continue filming, get the tape, press play, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on that.
If you're having a panic attack, you're in the middle of the woods, and you do have a satellite phone, but it takes a while for them to get to you. They have to travel by boat. So, maybe you think like, hey, I'm going to die out here, and like, I'll might as well film it or, film this experience.
No, I wouldn't film a death. No.
That's
me.
They're also told to like film themselves at all times. So
Right.
just put the camera on the floor and just because they
Or he could have just wanted to tap and then pretended he was having a heart attack to get the hell out of there.
Even if you're crying, and saying, please go away, please go away, please go away, you got to leave it going.
Although if you were pretending to have a heart attack, wouldn't you do it like a more manly way? Like, oh, you're like, oh, I'm having a heart attack, gotta call. Not like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. He's really trying to sell that he's in pain.
It's like the old Dave Chappelle joke about calling 911 and not wanting to let anybody hear. You're like, help! They scream. Like I just asked myself, like, you don't want anybody to hear actual panic because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, like when something really wrong is happening, Andrea will get one of these from me. I'll be like, Andrea! It'll be like that. Because I don't want to start crying in front of Maisie.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.